Here we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, Jody.
Hello.
Hi.
Technical
So,
issues.
yes, we're so excited to be back for part two. I'm just going to give everybody a moment to catch on that we're live and we've started. But this is part two from a conversation from the earlier this week, actually on Tuesday, where we started talking about, or actually, really, Jody just shared an abundance of wisdom and information and perspective on relationships and why they don't work, what it takes to have them work. I think it's not what most people think. Certainly, when I think of soulmate, let me just say that, and then we can jump in.
Yeah.
But what I always thought of with soulmate was like that other person who completes me, right? Like there's me, and then there's this twin of me somewhere in the world, right? And so I don't know if other people ever thought that way, but that's what, when I heard the term soulmate, and you just created a whole different context for what a soulmate means and what that looks like and what needs to be in place. And so it was a great conversation. At the end, our internet got a little wonky, so we decided to do a part two. So maybe, Jody, if you want to recap anything, and then talk about your retreat that's coming up in October, which sounds very exciting. I will be there.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't want to miss it because I've been part of your events before and I know they're amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just let's dive in. We were talking about the energetics of a soulmate relationship and what that means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I could repeat what I said, because when it comes through, it's just coming through so fast. I mean, I know I know the foundation, but I love that you said what you thought it was, because I think that you're not alone.
Right.
I think that a lot of people feel this. And it's such a huge misconception, because the work that I do, and the work that I do is deep. It is not something that you're going to, well, I don't know where you're going to get it other than here. Because it is so unique, and it's such a, like, I bring so much of all these different worlds, like the religious world, the biblical world, the spiritual world, the science background, and just like understanding how our minds actually work, how our brains actually work in relationship. And so it's like I bring all these different facets to the table, and literally, like, what I'm here to do is help people slay shame. Like getting rid of anything that causes us to be disconnected from our soul. Because when we're disconnected from our soul, we're disconnected from source, we're disconnected from God. We're leading from the human constructs of ourselves. So we can look at it as two different ball games, basically. There's the one ball game that most people have been playing in this field of relationships, where they're checking boxes off. You know, we find someone to love us, and we get in relationship with that person who loves us. Hey,
right.
There they are. They love us. But we hadn't really gained clarity on what it is that we want. We've just looked for who wants us. And then we've pretty much accepted that, or now we're in a position where we've completely rejected that. A lot of women have completely rejected that. But where we are now in the energy of relationships is we have to be crystal freaking clear on who we are.
Yes.
What we're bringing to the table. And the belief in ourselves, because when we have that soul connection with ourselves, when we really truly understand who we are without the covers, without the masks, without the shadows and the shame and the secrets that we're hiding in our closet, and we can fully expose those, now we can have this true intimacy with ourselves. And so intimacy is not this external act of sex. That's not intimacy. It's a byproduct. But intimacy is an inside job. It's into me, I see into me, I allow you to see as someone that I'm being intimate with. When I come to the table, when I share the good word, just, on here on a live stream, I'm being intimate. I'm sharing what's behind the surface. I don't come to the table with any judgment of myself. I even, I had all kinds of technology issues. I wasn't going, oh, bad Jody, I'm late and this is all a mess. There's no shame in the game. There's no shame in the game. It just is. It is. And so when we can bring ourselves to the table without the cover, without this thing that we have to hide called shame, and most people don't even know. They don't even know that they are harboring shame.
Right.
They don't even know. But you are. Promise you are. If you don't have everything that you truly desire, you're harboring shame. And it's not complicated to get rid of. It's not complicated to release. But what people tend to believe is that relationships are something that you get. Relationships are something that you create from this source, from inside source, from being the source or tapping into the source and bringing that down into our bodies, minds, and souls and moving from that. Because this is our job as humans. This is our job as feminine, to move from that sense of trust, that sense of that love, that appreciation, that knowing, that creation energy. That's our job as women.
Mm-hmm.
But what have we done? We've gotten in our heads a lot as humans. And now, then next step was this whole thing of manifestation, law of attraction. That's outdated stuff. That's outdated stuff because it's manifestation. Manifestation is from here. It is, what do I need to change from here? It's a vision, it's a vision board. But when you are creating, when you're having a creation relationship, it's coming from that energy that's inside. It's an energetic, it's a spiritual thing. So a whole soulmate experience is a spiritual experience. There's no other way around it. And I'm going to tell you this: any relationship, I'm going to get on my leg for a second. Any relationship, I didn't want to put my whole self up in the camera, but any relationship right now that isn't sourced by God, by the frequency of creation, that isn't grounded in your true soul identity, will crumble.
Mm. And Jody, how would someone know? Because sometimes relationships really feel like the right thing until they're a disaster.
Yeah.
So how does someone know?
So, gosh, it's such a, I could go so many different ways with that question. It's such a good question. The way to know is in action. The way to know is to know thyself and to know thyself. And there are some relationships right now that are really good relationships that actually shouldn't be broken apart. But the energies are breaking them apart because we have to be broken apart, and almost like a butterfly in a cocoon. We got to turn to mush. We got to hit ground zero. And it's like we have this, it's like the freaking hurricane coming in. It's like this whole new wave of energy, this whole new wave of energetics that is coming through and coming into our relationships, which is sounding kind of crazy as I'm hearing myself speak it. But sometimes you don't know. You literally don't know. And that's one of the reasons why people hire me, because it's hard to tell. Is this my human sabotaging, screwing things up? Or is this something that I need to let go of in order to let God work more through it, in order to let source the creation for energy move through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get all head trippy about it and all human about it. And we can't be human and head trippy about it. We just have to almost experience it and trust in the process as we heal. So you and I, we've done a tremendous amount of work, and the work doesn't, the work doesn't end. Once you're in the work, once you're in it, you're in it. It's the way of life. It's now just what we do. And what is that we do? It is going into the shadows, the shames, the secrets, looking at our belief system, seeing what needs to be changed, being able to observe our secret thoughts, being able to get into our subconscious mind to be able to reprogram what it is that we have believed about relationships in the first place. It at the end of the day, it's really about getting your body in connection, like plugged into what I call the miracle mind, miracle frequency, as opposed to the pain brain, which is the opposite of that. So in religious sectors, they would call that Satan. So you would be plugged in either to these demonic thoughts that are taking over your head, or you're plugged into this miracle mind that's moving you in that direction, that's moving you forward. So if you have done the work, it doesn't mean, like I hear all the time people say, I thought I cleared that. I thought I healed that. I thought I'm over that. Something, in their past, their childhood, their mother relationship, mother wounds, daddy wounds, things like that. Yeah, you cleared it at that level. But with each new level, it's going to come back. Why is it coming back? Because we're here to continue to open ourselves up. We're here to continue to reunite, to reconnect, not to separate. So one of the ways that we do that is looking at our family lineage patterns to be able to see what it is that's the repeating pattern that we need to change. Because if we're not having what we want, we have to choose to be the chosen ones that are here to break a cycle, that are here to create a new pattern, that are here to be a pattern interruption. We have to choose to be the one to do that, to essentially take one for the team and cause a disruption that's going to change everything. Not because our ancestors, our parents were bad and wrong, but because they didn't know what they didn't know. And now here we are, and we can either carry the burden that's in our bodies, or we can release that burden and create a new story.
Right.
So I can't answer that question like a direct question, like how do you know? Until you are tapped into your soul knows. Okay. I will tell you this. When you are in soul and you are leading from soul, there's a part of you that knows. And then there's this other part of you that's the human, that's all confused and discombobulated and being led blindly by the soul. But the soul knows, okay? The soul has no fear. The soul is like, I got you. This is where we're going. It's like a deep, deep knowing. And for us women, gosh, there are so many things that have occurred in our reality, in our collective, that have caused women to stop trusting themselves. The literal birthing process, for example. What have we done? We have changed the natural order of things for childbirth, and we have created these constructs around it that we want to avoid the pain.
Right.
And birth in and of itself is like an initiation where women learn how to trust themselves, where women learn how to trust their bodies, where women learn how to listen to the signals. And it is a spiritual experience. Like you cannot have natural childbirth and not know that it's and not say that it's a spiritual experience. There's no other way. But what we have done as a society, as we've wanted to take any pain away, push any pain aside, and that actually is doing such a disservice, because it is through the pain that we gain the wisdom, and we remember our natural born instincts. And without those instincts, we're not going to know. We're going to get into relationship and we're going to be like, I don't know if this is the right thing. Let me ask all my girlfriends who have shitty relationships in the first place what they think. No, that's not the way we do that. Not the way we do it. Are you guilty? Is that what that was about?
No, it's just like I'm thinking of all of it, like just all of the drama in the world and how it feeds on each other, and how, you know, that is how it goes. I wasn't thinking of it personally so much, although sure, I could stand in line for that, but just that, you know, everything that you said, we're so designed now to avoid any pain anywhere.
Yeah.
Which means we don't feel our emotions. We numb out from our emotions. We don't want to go through growth because growth is uncomfortable. We, you know, don't want to learn how to trust ourselves because that can be painful. And as you said, the lessons only show up in the pain. So it's like this whole major, which is what you're talking about. There's a major consciousness reconstruction that needs to happen.
Yep. Yep. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. So speaking of the retreat that I'm going to do, there are so many deep programs that are causing man and woman to be separated.
Mm-hmm.
We're fighting a spiritual freaking war out here, but yet look inside of our own homes. And I think I said last time that, like, this is the church. Like, this, we got to get right here first. It doesn't mean that we don't necessarily get into relationship before we're right. And it's not perfection that we're looking for. It is, can I trust myself more than any other human in the whole wide world?
Right.
Right. When I can trust myself more than any other human in the whole wide world, when I can believe in myself more than any other human in the whole wide world, when I can tap in and tune in and turn myself on, I'm not coming from a needy energy where I need someone else to fulfill me. I need someone else to complete me. I need someone else to turn me on. I'm just turned on because I'm fucking turned on. Like, that's it. I just come to the table. I already come to the table turned on. I don't need anybody to rev me up. It takes the pressure off. But what has happened is we have such core negative beliefs deep down about the opposite sex. Because we are so different. Men make stupid decisions. Men are lazy, blah, blah, blah. All these different things. And what women have done in the past that has to stop, okay? What women have done in the past is they go to dinner, they go to happy hour, they get together in groups of women and talk negatively about the man.
Yes.
We're not freaking doing that anymore. But what has to happen is we have to reprogram all of those beliefs behind it. Same thing happens with money, okay? I mean, we can talk about what's going on in the world today, and to see glaringly all the all of the negative feelings around men. Like, if you really look at it, you will see what it is that we've been carrying as a collective of women. And so I'm flipping that switch. And now gathering women to believe in the greatness of men.
Yeah.
To believe in their rise, to believe in their comeback, to believe in their king. Otherwise, we're sitting here asking to be the queen without believing that they're the king. How are we going to get that? How are we ever going to get anywhere like that? So we're doing some really deep healing around our beliefs around men at this retreat because it's so profound. And you think that you don't have anything. Like everybody's like, I don't have any negative beliefs about men. Bullshit. Bullshit. You do. You do. Just be quiet. Shh. Like there's jobs, there's roles that we need to have as women that will cause the energies to shift on our freaking planet if we play it right. Just by being us.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happened is we have been operating and leading from these human constructs. And at first, Linda, like when I first started really digging into the belief system behind men to really gather my own queen codes, it's like you will think it's almost delusional to believe these things about men because of what you've seen as true. And so here's what I mean by that. There are things that are true, okay? There are things that are true from our past. There are pains that have happened in our past. There is a way that men have showed up in the past. There is a way that women have showed up in the past. Okay. These are true. They're facts. They're true. Okay. But true and truth are completely different. They're different energetic fields.
Right.
True is what we can prove in our human form. Truth is just truth. There's no proof needed. And in fact, when you do prove it, it's a freaking miracle. And you got to take a photo of it just so somebody else believes it, because it's like those signs that we get from our loved ones on the other side, you know. It's like unbelievable. It's like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
And that's what it's like when you shift the field, when you shift your energy, when you shift your beliefs, when you shift your thoughts around what it is that we're here to do and who they actually are. So there's two parts of the focus in the work that we're going to be doing at this retreat. One part is really focusing on what our role is as women. Our role, you know, from the last call that we did is in the spiritual realm. Our role is the spiritual war of things. If we have that tapped in, then we don't need to fight this physical war. That is the masculine's role.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets crazy because, you know, we do have so many single women, single mothers, solo mothers. You know, I was a solo mama for 6 years after my husband died. And, you know, they want to fight for that. They want to fight for that right to prove, to say, no, I've got to do it. I've got to do that. I got to be both roles and everything. Yeah, you do at times, but it's a matter of knowing when.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of knowing when to shift your role. Because of course, if I would have stayed in my feminine all day long, all night long, and tried to raise 3 children on my own and have a job and then eventually start this business and run a household, pay a mortgage, all of that. If I would have stayed completely in my feminine, we would have been screwed. Of course, there's a time and a place. But it's about discerning when it's time to put on your masculine mode and when it's time to be in your feminine. It's like Mr. Rogers. It's like Mr. Rogers. You got to understand when it's time to take off the blue shoes and put on your gray sweater.
I follow.
Here's an example. So when I was first raising my kids on my own, I was teaching at the time. For the first couple of years, I mean, Harlow, my youngest, because I don't remember if I shared this on the first call, but I was pregnant with my youngest when my husband died unexpectedly. And after she was born, I had to go back to work a few months after she was born. And I was a teacher, or in education at the time. I was a STEM instructional coach. So I coached teachers in science, engineering, math, and which one am I forgetting? Technology. And an instructional coach for them. So I was in charge of like 116 teachers at the time, and also writing science curriculum in the background in a office cubicle with brown paneled wall. And that's a masculine role. You've got to be in leadership role. You've got to be writing curriculum. It's all masculine constructs here. And so when I got home, if I went directly into, okay, we got to get the dinner done, we got to move, we got to get this done, we got to move, action mode, which is more of the masculine, then I wouldn't have been able to connect with my children. I wouldn't have been able to shift into the feminine. And it's something that we truly have to pause and do something different. We have to get back into our bodies. I've been teaching my kids to get back in their bodies from like day one. My kids now, anytime they feel any kind of anxiety come up, they know exactly what to do to get back in their bodies and pull their energy down instead of being all up here inside of their head. This is the masculine job, okay? The feminine pulls the energy down. The feminine is all the way down. Move it in the hips. It is all the way down. Lock it in. I don't care what you're doing. So in order to then be the mom that I truly wanted to be to them, I had to get in my feminine energy. So I used to take a 7-minute bath every single night when I got home from work. I would pick the kids up from the babysitters and school, and I would come home and I would start the bath. I would put lavender in the bathtub and some Epsom salts in the bathtub. This was around 2008, 2009, actually. Epsom salts in the bathtub. I would get the baby put in her little bouncy seat. I would get the other 2 kids, which are 2 under 5. I would get them in front of Max and Ruby on the TV. That's pretty much all I watched for 2 years, because I didn't watch any kind of mainstream TV whatsoever for at least 2 years. But then I would get into the bath. So I would get them ready. I would get into the bath. And what I found out was that, because there is strategy to it, I found out that 10 minutes was overstaying my welcome in the bathtub.
Okay.
And now the kids are mad, and I'm too deep in it. Okay. I'm too deep into the feminine. All right. Now it's hard for me to shift into masculine mode of doing the dishes, getting the work done, getting the dinner on the table, things of that nature. And 5 minutes just wasn't enough. So it was 7 minutes, and it literally worked like clockwork to get me back into my feminine. And after that 7-minute bath, game on. I'm ready to connect to my children. I'm ready to love on them. I'm ready for them to see me. I'm not up in my head in my masculine. I am down in my body, down at their level, connecting to these little beings who only have one parent right now, who literally their father was pulled out from their life, stripped from their life, right? If I don't take care of me, if I don't have my oxygen mask on first, if I don't take care of, and it's not that I need to go get my hair done, it is truly taking care of me, taking care of my energy, taking care of my emotional state, taking care of my mental state. That's my job.
Right.
So going back to your question at the beginning, or your idea of what soulmates are at the beginning of, we complete each other. No, we enhance each other. That's what a soulmate is. It's about you knowing your feminine role and coming to the table with your true essence from your soul blueprint given to you by the creator, okay? Coming to the table in that way, as he comes to the table in that way, okay? He knows who he is. He's a man on a mission. He's got this. Why? Because that's who we've attracted in. And if we're already in relationship, it still works, but it takes a different It takes a different frequency of work because you're already in the relationship. And so you're constantly going to the negativity. You're constantly going to the doubt. You're constantly going to, this can't possibly work out. Look at him. He's not doing the work. He's just lazy again. He's not doing the work. See, he's just not doing it. Men, like, if you really don't understand, men don't need to do the depths of work that we do because we hold the energetics of things. They need to do mindset work. In the coaching field, men have been teaching women that mindset is everything, that you just need to do mindset. Bullshit. That is doing a complete disservice to women. Women need energetic work. We need to come back to our roots of understanding our intuition, the innate wisdom that we have been given as women to work in the spiritual world, to work in slaying the energy. And we do that from our body, from here, from this source. Only then can I be a source to my children, for my children. Right. I can't take away the fact that their dad died. I can't take away that pain. I can't be more of me in order to fulfill something that they've lost because he's gone. I can only be me. But also, I know that was part of the divine plan as well. So if I'm my full self, if I bring my full self to the table, it's enough because I'm sourced by it. Right.
What was coming to my mind when you were saying all of that, like I'm thinking of my own life, and I'm thinking of the clients that I work with as well. And, as you said, getting into the energetics, like I think women, a lot of the women that I work with are always up here.
Yes.
In their head. Always. Yeah. And that might come from maybe growing up, your dad wasn't strongly in his masculine, so you had to step up and do things, or you just saw what was modeled. I mean, I'm sure there's different reasons why that happens, but it's like women, almost avoid the energy behind what's going on, or almost avoid getting down into their body.
Yeah.
So it's like an interesting point that you're making, that has to happen.
Well,
so
there's
let me just,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking. So before she asked this, she said bullshit. So I don't know what you're saying bullshit on, Monica, but if you want to clarify that, I'm sure Jody can clarify. But then your next question is, why do we get into codependent behavior?
Well, we get into codependent behavior based in our attachment, issues. So when we are more attached to another human as opposed to the attachment, and it's not even attachment, it's a relationship with the divine, with God, with our higher source, with our higher self. Okay. There is no codependency because I got me.
Got it.
As long as we got me. And let me tell you this, codependency is something like I'm going to be working through that, as I continue to grow, because it's ingrained in my family lineage. Like, this is the thing that we've come in to heal and expose and to release, this whole codependency thing. But it's about coming in balance with ourselves. Remember, the masculine and feminine within ourselves. And when we're in balance of that, and we are tapped in, knowing that we are not alone, knowing who we are, knowing what we're bringing to the table. It's not from this needy type energy of needing someone else to keep us alive. It is, this is so good. Let me share it. And hey, I like how you do. Let's play, let's roll, let's expand. Relationships are about expansion. And if you aren't expanding, you're dying. I was going to tell you there's a science called psychoneurobiology. And there's a field that's going on, and why we are so in our heads. Okay. There is a field that goes on that literally we're being programmed every single day without us even knowing what's going on, that keeps us in our head. we have to literally like pull ourselves out of our head in order to not be hooked in to some thought vibration that we don't even know is being programmed in our minds. But also, like, that's an answer that's like here. Let me give you an answer that's more here. When I was going to coaching school, I went to I'm a certified life coach, actually, and not every coach is why I said that. So when I was getting certified in coaching back in 2010, my coaching school was very much the background that I teach, from the energetics portion of it, from bringing your thoughts out of your subconscious programming and really being the observer of that, so that you can change those thoughts. And the energy is what's most important. Okay. So I remember my coach at the time who was teaching me, and she would ask me, Jody, what do you feel about that? Okay. This was after I'd been in coaching for a couple of months. Also, I was a pioneer of emotional intelligence when I was an educator. So way back in the mid 90s, I was teaching children emotional intelligence. Okay. I intellectually knew all the things. I knew the book. There was an intellectual knowledge there. Okay. But there wasn't an embodiment. Okay. When she would ask me what I felt about that, I was so in my masculine that I could not express what it is that I was feeling. I could only say what I was thinking. And so every time she would ask me, what do you feel? What do you feel about that? What do you feel? Which is the feminine construct. You can't talk to men and ask them for what they're feeling. Men think in thought. So we need to talk to them with, what do you think? Women, in order to get us in our feminine, how do you feel about that? So I was so in the masculine. It took me months, Linda. And you know the work that I do today, but that's who I was. I could not get from my thought processing into my feelings. I literally could not feel. Why? Because I was so blocked and so judgmental of any of the feelings that I felt, that I would block those feelings.
You know, it's just so important. And by the way, just to clarify, what Monica said is she was just agreeing with you. You had said BS and she was agreeing with you. That's all.
Yay, Monica. Go, girl.
She says, I'm just repeating and agreeing.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell that because it was just this standalone word. Okay. Yeah. So it's such intense, and obviously we could talk until it's time to, have dinner. And we're in two different time zones, so that could really take something.
Yeah.
But I think I would be left, if I were listening to this, is how do I do the retreat? Like I would just want to certainly spend that time with you and go deeper, which is why I'm going to do the retreat. And I do, some of this work, not to the degree that you do in the energetics, but I do a lot of this kind of work. And that's because you've been my mentor for a few years as well. So I've worked under you for myself. Mm-hmm. So I really know the value of what you bring. And I'm hoping
growth. Let me brag on you for a second. I remember when you first started working with me, and you're very smart. Linda is like super smart. She's super intelligent, very, like, she knows her shit. She knows a lot of this stuff. But her childhood story, she was blocking her femininity so much. And I remember, I hope you're not embarrassed of this, but
no, let it rip. It's true. Whatever you're going to say, I don't even know, but
I was like, oh, Linda, once she like, I could feel her energy. So when my clients come to me, I know their true essence. And Linda's energy, I'm like, oh, you're just like a warm sweater. I just want to crawl in your lap and lay my head on your boobs.
I do remember you saying that.
You're just so nurturing and just so loving. And it's just like, oh, like Charlotte picked the right mama for her.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just so nurturing and loving. But to witness you, because you didn't believe me.
No.
She didn't believe me for a really long time. And to see your shift and to shift from like even seeing you more loving outwardly, putting hearts and just saying I love you to people is it was a really big transition for you, a really big transformation for you.
Huge.
And
Huge.
ladies, we need to be women. I'm sorry to tell you, we're here to be women.
So can we put the link again in the comments?
Yeah, definitely put the link.
Do you have it or you want me to grab it? So while you look, I'll read you what Monica wrote. Here's the thing. Years ago, I asked my husband how I could be a better wife, and he yelled at me. I have a real issue with your weight. I'm 5'8" and 150 pounds. My point being, I shut down again.
Yeah. So what we would need to do with you is we would need to go into the energetics of that. We would need to go into the trauma in that, because it didn't start with your husband. It started with your childhood. There's something that happened. And if it didn't happen specifically in your lifetime as a child, in your childhood, that you can see, it was passed down to you generationally from the women before you, most likely the women before you. So sometimes when we get into the patterns, I call it the love blueprint. So when we get into your love blueprint, I'm able to question and bring out. So I can sense people's energies. I can sense people's stories. I can sense people's patterns, but there is a way that I do it that helps you to bring out from your subconscious programming what the actual pattern is and what the story is, because then I'm teaching you how to do it, and you're not depending on me to be the one to heal you. You're actually, I'm being a catalyst for your healing. And so for a situation like that, was that Monica?
Yes, Monica.
Yeah, for a situation like that, Monica, we would need to go back and see where the origination code was, see where that was implanted in you, because it's going to be a major core wound: abandonment, rejection, humiliation, injustice, or betrayal. So this is most likely a rejection or a humiliation. Depends on, after talking to you, it would depend on what it is that you felt after that. Now, shutting down, and this is what women do, we shut down, we go cold, and now we are defending ourselves or protecting ourselves against the man. So it's not his responsibility to fix that. It's our responsibility to fix the energy within us that was the original cause. And once we shift that energy, all of a sudden he thinks you're thin and sexy, because you've healed the energetics behind that. All of a sudden he's like, whoa, where'd you come from? It's the most bizarre thing, but it is how it works. It's how it works.
It's all energy. It's all energy.
We work on the energetic portion, not on what he should do and what he shouldn't have done and how he should have done it differently. Okay. We do that from you. Like, every relationship, remember, is a mirror to us. So him saying that is just, it's a gift. Here's why it's a gift, you guys. It's a gift because it's showing you what you're already telling yourself about yourself. If you don't freeze up, if you aren't triggered, it's not a thing for you. It's not a thing for you. If my husband told me, for example, or anyone, that I didn't know what I was doing in terms of coaching, okay? If I don't know you don't know what you're doing here, I would not be triggered. It's not in me. I know what I bring to the table, okay? There's nothing in me that would believe them. I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. Because I know me, all right? Now, if there's something that I'm even like, okay, my teeth, I don't have straight, narrow teeth, right? If someone said something to me about my teeth, I still wouldn't be triggered, because I've already done the work around that. I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. Am I going to get Invisalign in the next couple of months? Yeah, I actually am. But that's because as you age, things start drooping a little bit more and things are showing a little bit more, and I don't like it. Not because I think that I need to in order to be me, but I want to bring out the best in me, okay? And so what we need to do is thank you, Monica, for bringing this up, because this really shows what we need to do is look at all these ways that we have frozen like dead fish, that we have stopped living because someone has said something, because someone has humiliated us, because someone has rejected us. We have to look at all of these core wounds so that we can release the energy of them. Otherwise, you're a prisoner in your own freaking home. Not because your husband was an asshole and told you were fat. Was he not? I don't know. He's just telling the truth. And thank you. I say thank you. I want to be told the truth. Even if it hurts, tell me the truth. What is it? What is it? Okay? That's something I can work on. I'm going to get my ass in the gym. I'm going to do this. And believe me, I know that's a blanket statement because going through menopause was freaking hell for me. I could not lose the weight. Nothing that I was doing was working. Believe me, I know what that feels like, but it is our job. It's our job. It's our job to clean our own shit up so that we can release, because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, this is the only life partner that we will ever have, guaranteed for the rest of our time here. And if we are frozen fish, we die a frozen fish. Not because someone else did something, said something, or whatever, but because we chose to. We chose not to heal from that. This is not something you do in therapy. This is not something that you do in even church, okay? It's a combination of everything. It's definitely not just your coaching mindset stuff. It's all of it together under one roof called Unconditioned Lover on October 20th. I would love to see you there. Monica, come. I want to talk to you, girl. We'll have fun.
Yeah. Do you have the link, Jody, or should I go grab it from Facebook?
Grab it.
All right.
Because I'm on the phone and it's hard for me to.
Okay. You keep talking then. I'll grab the link.
Grab it. Let's see. Was there any other question? Was there any questions from last week? What else?
I didn't see any, but then again, I didn't really go back and look in all places because this is streaming in like 6 different places. So I don't necessarily see everything.
Okay.
And I didn't go back and look, but I will. I did go
out the retreat then. So what we're going to do at the retreat, I've already said a couple of different things that we're going to do at the retreat, but also it is, I'm going to do some really fun things that I'm not going to give the secrets away, but it's really going to help you see the perspective that you have of yourself. And this is for all women that truly deeply desire to have a relationship that's not just this human relationship, but a relationship that feels so good, that feels like God is working through your relationship. Like literally you want a turned on relationship. You want to be a power couple. You want that divine union. You don't want to just be married. You want to be married and more. You want to have this turned on, energetic, like let's fucking roll kind of relationship. Okay. I don't care if you're already in relationship, we work on you and he begins to change. If he doesn't, then we have other decisions to make. Sometimes in the process, things happen that look like you're splitting apart and you eventually come back together. That happens too. But also it's for even if you're not in relationship yet. And that is because I take you on this whole journey, getting you right in your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the divine, getting you in right relationship there, so that then you can come to the table fully, deeply locked in on who you are and magnetize him in. And not even magnetize. You just need to show up. You just need to be in the freaking room and be who you are. And there he is. And then we take that relationship. This is why I'm a soulmate matchmaker. We take that relationship and we enhance it. We elevate it. We expand it into the greater capacity. It's almost like when I look at my power couples, it's like bringing two souls together that are so good and right for each other, that there is something more for them to bring to this life, something even like a mission, like something more that's going to move mountains and shift the planets because they're together. That's the whole journey.
Really, really great. So Monica, I hope you come. I'm going. So anybody else, if you're listening and watching, I posted this a couple times, and I think the first time one of these, it's like your name went right up to the link. So people, make sure you copy and paste, not including Jody's name, because the link won't work that way, but you'll see. Start
Okay,
it with.
I'll go in and fix it too after we get off here.
Okay.
Okay.
So anything else that anybody wants to ask Jody while we have another minute or so? Monica's saying it's not too late for me with a question mark.
No, it's never too late, girl. He is still alive, babe.
Yes. As long as when my clients ask that, or somebody asks that and they're not yet a client, I say, do you have breath left in your body? If you have breath left in your body, you're still living, you're still creating your life.
Amen. But you've got to get turned on.
Yeah. And that doesn't just mean turned on like we think of like sexually. It's turned on to life, turned on to who you are, turned on being in love with yourself.
That's right. That's right. By the end of it, you'll be doing this to your own self. I'm gonna go pick up my child.
Okay. We're going to go. Numi says hello, but we're going to say goodbye now and hope to see you at the retreat.
Much love, you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Linda.
Bye, Jode.